Hello! She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episodes 7 and 8. Once again, the series gives us an episode where not much happens, followed by one where stuff happens. And this time, it really happens. On the quick, I'm going to say episode 7 was mostly meh, but had a good, fun scene that explored some character development. Whilst episode 8 felt less like a penultimate episode and more like an episode 2 of a better show. I'm going to leave that particular spark of a conversation alone until next week and the last review of this series. For now, I'm going to hotfoot it through the episodes, then backtrack to discuss specific points. Episode 7 starts with Jennifer Walters going on dates. Not She-Hulk, Jennifer. After 3 dates, she gets it on like Donkey Dong, only to be ghosted by the former date. Jennifer's wallowing in self-pity is interrupted by a request for help with Blonsky, which turns out not to be needed. She then spends the rest of the episode, or should I say what's left of the episode, at Blonsky's retreat, where she accidentally gets involved in a therapy session, where we get that good character stuff. The very end of the episode reveals Jennifer's date was actually a member of the Intelligentsia. Yeah, that's the website from episode 6. Yeah, they didn't do a very good job of building that up. He copies Jennifer's phone data and apparently gets a DNA sample somehow. Right, that's that done. Next. Episode 8 starts with Fringy getting... Hey, that's not Fringy. Not Fringy wants to sue the costume maker from episode 5 for making a shoddy costume. She-Hulk is prosecuting, so the defense lawyer is Matt Murdoch. We get a good bit of courtroom back and forth, specifically about superhero stuff, finally. And the case is dismissed. Down the pub, Matt and Jennifer flirt, but they are both interrupted by work. Jennifer meets with the creepy rich guy who shows off his vibranium spear. No, that's not a euphemism, he actually has a vibranium spear. Subtle signposting.
What about super speed, night vision, impenetrable skin, even vibranium?
Why, do you have some on you? You want to test it out?
No, I wish. And get this, they had an authentic Wakandan war spear. Boom, how cool is that? I mean, I own that now.
After Jennifer is creeped out by Mr. Creepy, she gets a call for help from Not Fringy, who is being attacked by Daredevil. They don't fight, leading them to work together to save the costume maker from Not Fringy. Afterwards, they forgo the usual song and dance so they can do the horizontal monster mash. A fourth wall break introduces the award ceremony, which turns out to be a setup. The Intelligentsia do their worst anonymous impression and embarrass She-Hulk, leading her to smash and grab, then get arrested? And that's where we're left till next week. Right, on to specifics. The therapy session of episode 7 is probably the coming together of all the little moments in the She-Hulk series, where Jennifer Walters has felt bad about either herself or She-Hulk. In my Great Expectations video, I hoped they might explore a conflict between the two, maybe even create a diverging personality in She-Hulk. The series hasn't done that, with She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters being identical personality-wise. Instead, other people's reactions are the catalyst for Jennifer's problems.
You know in high school, that friend that you have that's like cooler than you are? I can turn into that person anytime I want to. But it feels like cheating. Would they like me if I didn't have all of this? Like if I was just Jen? I meet this guy who actually likes Jen, and that just felt good to know that, you know? And then he ghosts me, and it sucks.
It's not the best they could have done with the dynamic, it must be said. My hope is, if there's a second series, they will explore and develop it even more. But for now, at least some of the issues surrounding She-Hulk have been explored. Now they just need to talk about Jennifer Walters' major personality problems.
Look at you flying into a rage, throwing people across the room.
Into perfectly stacked chairs.
I know it's a bad look, Man-Bull. I don't need you to point out my obvious mistakes.
Yes, you do. Another positive about this scene is the other actors. It's like someone got a group of personalities together and told them to go full ham.
Okay, that's not exactly the last thing I texted him.
I'm sorry, what?
I met a guy, Josh, at a wedding.
Another direct heat.
Okay, are you two married?
Come on.
Codependency.
All right, screw this guy. Where does he live?
Let's kill him. That's right, he's gotta die.
Whoa, big man, please.
Josh has made an enemy of this entire group. Tonight, we ride!
Maybe this Josh thing hurt so much because you haven't been spending enough time with Jen.
And that's a shame, because I bet Jen is pretty damn great.
Yeah.
And tasty. Oh. Damn it, went off the rails. Somebody bail me out.
It adds some colourful personality to the scene, whilst at the same time allowing for the serious self-reflection. Well done, show! At the same time, considering the other superpowered people who have appeared in She-Hulk so far have all been existing characters, I can only imagine these are beloved comic book characters that have been ruined here. Speaking of ruined characters, Jennifer is still a git.
I'm very, very sorry.
Oh my god. It seems like a breakthrough. He's very sorry.
Sarcasm.
Wow.
And weird as well.
3 nights ago, when we...
Made love.
First off, ew. No, when we slept together for the first time.
Why is slept together better than made love? I don't get it. Speaking of, the not boyfriend somehow became a groomsman at Jennifer's friend's wedding just so he could chat Jennifer up? I think Titania's appearance was meant to cover that up or lampshade it, but seriously, how and why did he do that? She's at the pub most nights, just chat her up there. And how did he get a DNA sample without her knowing? He messages a syringe emoji, but that can't be how he got it, right? Is his dick that powerful he knocked her out with it? Beyond these scenes, episode 7 was not much of a muchness, although I did like the bit at the start with the one-shot pan and the overlaid Jennifers. Any show of artisms is always appreciated. And of course, Tim Roth returned for a spell and got some bants on. Again, always appreciated.
Oh, you got a text?
Did I?
Yeah.
Where? No. Very funny.
Now let's go to episode 8. Matt Murdoch finally appears after being teased in the bloody trailers what feels like an age ago. The fears of him being misused in court were alleviated when he got in a good back and forth about superheroes, something this show was desperately missing.
If the defendant has nothing to hide, then why not hear from his clients?
I would say that's a gross invasion of people's privacy based on a very shaky what if.
There is no inherent right to privacy when employing Mr. Jacobson's tailoring services.
The very nature of Mr. Jacobson's line of work, making suits exclusively for superheroes, necessitates anonymity.
Superheroes operate in the public eye.
Here, we're not talking about celebrities. We're talking about superheroes who have enemies who will try to harm them, and the people close to them. This isn't about privacy for privacy's sake. If this information is not protected, not only would it ruin my client's career, it could put a lot of people in a lot of danger.
Matt was acting very jovially throughout his time on screen, which I'm sure will rub some people the wrong way. However, he was spending most of his time with a pretty lady, which then makes this consistent with his own series. As Daredevil, he outmaneuvers She-Hulk, mostly, and gets some decent fighting in, so again, keeping his character consistent. Relax everyone, Matt Murdoch made it out of She-Hulk alive. These two also feel very natural together when nattering, even to the point there's this subtle moving of the glass by Jennifer into Matt's hand that I missed the first time around. The actress for Jennifer is a good actress, but also a very good small talker, which is something I've neglected to praise in my previous videos. Couple this with Matt's actor being a bloody good actor, and their scenes together are practically electric. Some of the stuff these two talk about is significant as well.
But I think you're in a unique position to do some real good. Jen Walters can use the law to help people when society fails them. She-Hulk can help people when the law fails them. Just let me do my thing.
Yeah, and I will do my thing.
You don't have a thing. You don't ever do this.
give a statement to the cops?
Not really a stick around and talk to the cops kind of guy. More of a secret identity thing you wouldn't understand.
This goes to show how little the She-Hulk premise has been used or explored in this series, and why episode 8 feels like an episode 2. This includes that end scene with the hack reveal and She-Hulk going nuts. Also, seeing her looking shocked at everyone's reaction to her hulking out links back to Bruce's speech.
Okay, I'll be careful.
You can't be emotional. Forget Hulk rage. Just regular anger means death and destruction for everything and everyone around you. And I'm telling you, when people start seeing you as a monster that never goes away.
Again, more in next week's video. And one last thing before we bring up the negatives is not Frinny's lair. I'm guessing it was supposed to look like a pond, but it reminded me of Poison Ivy's pad from Batman and Robin, if somewhat watered down. Get it? Watered down because he's a... Never mind. Right then, negatives. The Sokovia Accords have been repealed. What the actual? People have been asking about the Sokovia Accords for a while now, especially after Wanda enslaved a town. Now suddenly they're gone? Accords signed by countries all around the world that split the Avengers and imprisoned superpowered people. And they're just gone? It's not even a prominent line, it's thrown in with everything else.
Mr. Jacobson's line of work, making suits exclusively for superheroes, necessitates anonymity. May I remind you that the Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
Bloody hell, show. She-Hulk unmasks Daredevil in their first meeting. They make a point of saying she doesn't understand secret identities, but still, bloody hell. Also, I'm sure Daredevil fans loved seeing that. Jennifer says to Matt,
You were the guy who wanted to spend half an hour picking off each goon one by one.
I'm pretty sure we would all appreciate seeing 30 minutes of Daredevil battering goons. This is confounded when we are teased with another hallway fight scene, only to have it taken away from us.
She-Hulk smash.
Yes, very good, well done. I hate you. Jennifer takes off Daredevil's mask as soon as she gets her hands on him, but later she grabs this guy who hacked her phone and she leaves his mask on. You could say the guys with guns turning up stopped her before she could, but then I'd have to ask, why are these guys here? Seriously, why are they here? Were they expecting She-Hulk to rage out? If so, were they called, and can that call be traced? So many questions, no answers. Yet. This leads me onto Jennifer's character and how she's a terrible person in both episodes. Episode 7, she cares about herself throughout, with a few exceptions. This is to the point that she ignores Blonsky whilst he's trying to be nice and help her out.
Clearly you're not in a teachable mood right now, and I do respect that, so... I'm around if you need me.
She throws this bloke across a room which could have severely injured him. Seriously, stop doing that. She tries to get out of her case against the costume maker because of a conflict of interest.
Eugene is also very excited to have a Hulk on the case. And they're willing to sign a conflict waiver to have you, Miss Walters. You've handled a client who had to sign a conflict waiver before in a case, one would argue, is a lot more personal than this one.
But I believe I would be ethically compromised in representing a client against Jacobson because I like my nice clothes and I don't want to piss him off.
Your cousin is nearly killed by someone, but you're happy to defend that someone. But you don't want to prosecute someone else for good reasons because it will affect you personally. You are a terrible person. When chasing Daredevil, she breaks her client's car, the car park, this random person's car, and loads of cars when clapping her enormous hands together. Bruce, when trying, doesn't cause that much damage, as Jennifer does casually.
How about we don't?
Whoa, 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 hey, that's vintage!
And of course we got more lawyering fails. Instead of asking her costume maker about not Frinny's suit, she straight up says he's guilty, causing the hearing to happen. Then she gets angry at him being angry at her for saying he's in the wrong. Bloody hell, Jennifer. She sounds alright during the back and forth about superheroes, but then gets completely blindsided by the whole fuel fiasco.
You used jet fuel in your boosters? Because that's not what my instructions said.
What?
If the plaintiff ignored the manufacturer's explicit instructions, then the defendant is absolved of all liability.
Am I gonna go to jail?
No, but I would like you to.
Which leads us into one more character fail, when Jennifer asks if she can still be friends with the person she tried to blame for doing something wrong they didn't do. All so she can benefit from them. You are a terrible, terrible person. And that's episodes 7 and 8 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. They had good stuff in them, but blimey heck did they have bad stuff too. And Jennifer is looking the worst for wear, as always. The end of episode 8 promises something climactic for the final episode, but who the hell knows? The way this series has gone so far, I'm guessing it will be a fart in the wind, but we can only hope I'm wrong. I hope you will join me next week to find out. Feel free to do all the YouTube stuffs, and links to my Patreon and Etsy store will be in the description. Last but not least, thank you for watching.